केमिस्ट्री में बहुत ही important। Very good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Saurabh Sharma. I welcome you all in the eighth. Yeah. Very good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Sharma, Principal Vivek College of Technical Education, Bijnor, and I well organized by Vivek. Please introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Tawheed Israt sir. Rizwan sir, please introduce our today's speaker.
Thank you very much, our principal. Thank you very much, our principal, Dr. Saurabh Sharma sir. I again welcome and pay my regard to our honorable speaker, Dr. Tawheed Israt sir from University of Tennessee, USA, in this webinar. Furthermore, I welcome and express my regard to our chairman Sri Amit Goyal sir, Secretary Sri Deepak Mittal sir, Treasurer Sri D.K. Karwal sir, and all principals of different departments of Vivek College and all delegates in this webinar. We are delighted to have the willing presence of the Dr. Tawheed Israt from USA. It is a great honor for me to introduce our honorable speaker, Dr. Tawheed Israt sir. He is with us right now. Even I do not have sufficient word to explain about Dr. Tawheed Israt sir, but I am here to make him introduce to the audience by his brief biography that I have with me. Before introduce Dr. Tawheed sir, I have one couplet for sir. तेरी शख्सियत का बयार कुछ ऐसा है कि मेरी नज़्म तेरे तसव्वुर से मकाम होती है. Dr. Tawheed Israt sir is currently working as a associate professor in Department of Anatomy and Neurobiology, University of Tennessee, Memphis, USA since 2013. Dr. Tawheed sir obtained his PhD degree from Jamia Hamdard University, Delhi in 2007. He went to USA in the year 2008 and joined Emory University, Atlanta, USA, where he served as a postdoc fellowship for almost 3 years. Then he went to the USA then he switched to the University of Georgia, Augusta, USA, where he served as a research associate till 2013. His core area of interest and competency are cerebral stroke, traumatic imaging, neuro disorder, molecular pathogenesis, and hemorrhage transformation after stroke. He was awarded a patent in the 2014 on the method of managing childhood cerebral injury. He has published his chapter in a Springer Springer Transnational Stroke Volume. He has also published more than 100 research papers in the international and national journals with good impact factors. Research work in stroke management has received many national and international awards, including postdoc fellowship from Georgia and Emory University. He is the member of the most renowned organization in the USA and India, like member of American, he is the member of American Heart Association, member of Society of Neuroscience, member of International Society for Neurochemistry. He is also the member in Indian Indian Academy of Neuroscience. He has he had delivered more than 20 lectures in international conference. Before inviting respected Dr. Tohi sir from the University of Tennis USA, I have one more couplet for sir. ये रास्ते ले ही जाएंगे मंजिल तक तू हौसला रख. ये रास्ते ले ही जाएंगे मंजिल तक तू हौसला रख. कभी सुना है कि अंधेरे ने सुबह ना होने दी हो. Now I request to our honorable speaker, Dr. Tohi sir, kindly deliver a lecture on ischemic stroke and treatment option. What do we know? Sir, please.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Rizwan, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwan, and thank you, Dr. Saurabh, and all the organizing committee for inviting me and arranging this seminar for me. And I would like to thanks to my brothers Nadeem and Daraksha. They are also connected to make this seminars for me. So let's start with the how it will go. Like I will share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Rizwan, again for introducing me for a nice introduction. And here you can see in my first slide, I'm closely associated with Bijnor. Like Bijnor I spent my childhood and the teen age in Bijnor, and you can see like I put as a second affiliation with Bijnor. And so what we are going to learn, there's some highlights. What we are going to learn from this seminar, you can see here, we will talk about the stroke, what kind of stroke, and then we will talk about how does it occur and where does it occur, in which body parts stroke occur. And then we will talk about the risk factor, and then the risk factor associated with stroke like hypertension, diabetes. These are the risk factors we'll talk about. And then we will discuss the diagnostic tools and the treatment option for ischemic stroke. In the last, as you know, that any seminar, any discussion cannot be complete without talking about the COVID-19, which is a current topic for everyone. So in the last few slides, I will discuss like how the coronavirus COVID-19 is connected with the stroke. So here you can see the brain, like is like we have heard all the time the like Dil ka Daura, like brain heart attack. So it's a stroke is a brain attack, like attack on the brain. So this is effect on the brain. The brain is affected with the stroke, and then brain have different parts. Each part is responsible for different functions in the body. So you can see the brain have the frontal lobes and parietal lobes. Each part of the brain, it has different function in our body. So like brain have two hemisphere. So each hemisphere control on the right side and the left side. We have two lobes. One is right, one is left. Right side control to the left side of the body parts, and the left side control to the right side body part. If something happen over right side, so or the left side will not work. So when you talk about the brain, like it's all the time, it comes like the neurons, the cells which is present in the brain, which is called the neuron cells. But we don't know about, let's talk about the glial cells. There are other kind of cells which are present in the brain. These cells are the glial cells. These cells are the supporting cells. They support to the neurons, and they have important function in the brain, which is called the function is that they have the immunity function. They fight against anything coming to the brain. They fight against, this is work as a immunity, first immune defense in the body, in the brain basically. So you can see in the slide, like the brain have so many branching for the arteries and the vessels and the and the vein, they are coming, they are connected each other. So the brain functioning is work because of the blood supplies is coming, and brain blood carries the oxygen, and this oxygen provide the nutrient and nutrient to the brain, and brain work functioning keep all the time. We are thinking whatever we are doing during our daily life, so it's controlled by the brain. Brain is called the master organs of our body. So what happened, like if you will see, if you will cut off the blood supply to the brain, so you can see because the blood is carrying the oxygen and the nutrient, so there will be deprivation of the oxygen, and then cell will be starving and they start dying. So the cell will die. After cell die, so the particular brain parts, like which is responsible for particular function in the body, that will not work properly. So and then maybe that your body parts will be affected. So this is the stroke. Like you can see in this slide, in the local language, we sometimes is called lakwa marjana, like lakwa ho gaya usko, like we say that it's also called the paralyzed, and in like some Arabic language, the fall is the word come fall is. So it's a obstruction or the interruption of the blood flow in the major subarachnoid of the brain, which cause the stroke. You can see here, any blood clot forms inside the brain, or which is forms outside the brain, like in the body somewhere, and which reach to the and then reach to the brain and causes the obstruction of the blood flow in that particular area of the brain and lead to the stroke. So based on the pathology or the outcome, the stroke can be divided into two major categories. One is the ischemic, another is the hemorrhagic stroke. The ischemic stroke, most of the cases of stroke are the ischemic stroke. And you can see which is 88%, account 88% in the ischemic stroke. And the other cause is the hemorrhagic stroke. The hemorrhagic stroke is around 12% of all kind of stroke in the brain. So the ischemic stroke further can divide into two categories, which is thrombotic and then the embolic. The thrombotic stroke, when the clot form inside itself the body because of some particle, they are attached with some like platelets and something and form inside the brain and stop blood supply to the brain. This is called the thrombotic stroke. The embolic stroke is a stroke when the blood clot, any clots fall into your body, like any parts, like it can be made in the lungs, it can be in your heart, it can be made in your like limbs, anywhere. And when it reaches to the brain, and brain have the fine arteries, like the arteries are very fine in the brain, so it causes the occlusion, like the blockage, stop, interrupt the blood flow to the brain. This is called the embolic stroke. The hemorrhagic stroke is a stroke when there is a hemorrhage, like the rupturing or the breaking of the artery. The artery started leaking inside the brain or outside the brain, which is called the hemorrhagic stroke. Even though this is 12%, the mortality is much more higher in the hemorrhagic stroke. If you will see here, the mortality in this hemorrhagic stroke is 30, like around 40% mortality. The survival is very difficult for the patient. If somebody get the stroke, so in this hemorrhagic stroke, you can see many people nowadays, like they are suffering, like they have got attacked with the stroke. This is called the hemorrhagic, and the people cannot survive with this stroke. So sometimes you have heard a terms like, which is called the TIA, transient ischemic attack. So transient ischemic attack is a silent or a mini stroke. So you will see in normal, some people, sometimes they have like for few hours or few days, or sometimes they have like a few months too, they have some paralyzed, some part of the body, like maybe the face, half face, or something like their hand is paralyzed for some time, because this is called they attack with the mini stroke. But what happened if somebody have the mini stroke, so chances of having the mini stroke is increased in those people. So if somebody will see in your family or some friend, somebody have kind of like paralysis for the short time because of the mini stroke, so you need to see the doctor and get some like prescription or whatever they recommend to you, take care of your like the physiologic, such as like blood pressure, and if you have the high glucose level. So here, this slide shows that how the pathology of the ischemic stroke, like cascade, like after ischemic stroke, for say somebody get the stroke, there's a calcium or some like some enzymes which are present in the cells. Like in 2 hours, you can see the increase, and then further there is a process is called apoptosis and necrosis. So the apoptosis is a process of the cell death, like the cell is started dying, and then inflammation the same time, like something inflammation, like infla is converts from the fire. So there is a fire, like redness of the tissue, like some inflammatory marker then increases, and the body started repairing mechanism. This is called the repair and remodeling. So this process is started like 7 to 14 days, and this process like again is a defensive mechanism again the stroke or the any kind of injury in your body or in the brain. So let's talk about the symptoms. What kind of symptoms like of a stroke? Like, so if you will see like the blurring vision, like if somebody having a stroke, he cannot focus on any particular thing if he's looking, and they have the problem in his speech. When they are talking, they are like sluggish speech, like the problem, they have some issue when they're talking, they cannot speak clearly, like somebody having a stroke. And they have abrupt headache. They have headache all the time, like on and off, and then and the vomiting, and the neck stiffness. If somebody have particularly the hemorrhagic stroke, which is called hemorrhagic stroke, the neck is stiff, like he cannot move his neck, like it's stiffness in the neck, and the dizziness, and also the limbs and the legs, they can be dysfunction and rigidity, and it might be coma, and death can occur. So you can see if somebody having like face, if you will see some person like in front of you, it can, stroke can happen all of a sudden, like anytime. And it's not like in some people get stroke in the sleeping. This is called I talk about the silent stroke. The people are sleeping and they cannot wake up in the morning. So because they got attacked with the stroke. So you can see, if you see somebody like his face is all of a sudden you see him and his face is uneven, like he was normal person, but all of a sudden his face is uneven, and you can see if he is unable to hold anything, all of a sudden he is holding some cup, even a cup, it can fall down. And they have the speech problem. He cannot pronounce or talk any simple word clearly. Before he used to talk, but at the same time when he has a stroke, so he cannot talk clearly. Then it's time to call 911 like here, because you call to the emergency or the police, emergency to the hospital to get the ambulance to this patient. You can see here, this is a normal person, but his face is uneven, like he started like making his face because he get stroke attack. And then when he raised his limbs, like this is the basic symptoms. If somebody have a stroke, you can check like he is raising limbs, like hands. They are raising their hands, and they can see they cannot raise evenly both hands when somebody have the stroke. Normal person can raise hand evenly, but the stroke person cannot raise their hand evenly. So when you talk in United States 2017, there was a report saying that around stroke is the 5th leading causes of death when you talk about top leading causes of death. And around worldwide, like in all over the world, is considered as the 2nd leading causes of death. So the mortality they consider here, like which is around like 140,000 deaths each year because of a stroke, and every 4 minutes or like some American die because of a stroke. The incidence like increase like every 45 seconds, someone like neighbor relative having a stroke in any place. So economically, like millions of dollars spent for the treatment or the care of for a stroke. So even not in United States, let's talk about India. Like India, every 200, 150 to 200 people, like statistically, like the person in the rural area, in the villages, in the gaon. But when you come to the urban area, like the shahar, like cities, so around 500 in 1 lakh, like 100,000 people suffer with stroke. Because the why the percentage is higher in the urban area, in the cities, because the people are like people are taking like healthy diet, like nutritious diet compared to the villages. Villages they get, so villages take the healthy diet and they control diet in the villages, but in the cities you are taking the fast food and then like different kind of processed meat. So that can be the one of the reason to getting the higher statistics in the cities. And so in India, like around 15 lakhs people affected with a stroke, and among them, like 6.3 lakhs death because of a stroke. So when you take the ranking, there is a ranking of the stroke in all over the world, in all the countries. So the India comes in 91 rank in the stroke stroke death or the incidence of a stroke. And then US United States, it comes as a 167 rank as a rank of the incidence of a stroke. And India itself is considered is in the top leading causes of death. India, the stroke considered as a third leading causes of death. So there's an area in United States, like here, like even I'm living here in Tennessee, Memphis. So this area is called the stroke belt. So that particular area which is present in the south, you can see here, all these are the state, like the 11th state, this called the belt, stroke belt. So in these areas, the higher incidence of a stroke, like there are some 74% higher chances of having a stroke if you are living in this state or in these areas. So this is called, and especially the Georgia, there is a next state here, which is Buckle, like the main target where the higher incidence for a stroke was found. So what they did, a survey like why the incidence of a stroke is higher in those areas, particularly like in this 11 state. So what they found, the people are living here, many people are black people, African American people, they are living there. So they have high blood pressure. So the hypertension, which is one of the major risk factor for the hemorrhagic stroke or the ischemic stroke. So they have the high blood pressure level, blood pressure is higher in those people who we are living in that areas. And the lesson two, they find out that the people eating the processed meat, which is like, you can see the lots of Subways, McDonald's. So they have the food, the processed meat, which is like fried chicken. And nowadays is very popular in India too. Like, so it's very popular. So the people are living in these areas, they are eating the highly processed meat and high content of sugar shakes, like the drinks they are taking. So because of these two reasons, like it's maybe 30%, like these reason, this could be like 30% higher of getting a stroke. And compared to the 20%, like if you are taking a vegetables or a lean meat, so you're taking with like less fat meat, you are taking which is not the red meat, so you're taking, you reduce the chances of having a stroke. So, and the third lesson, they talk about that the person, the baby, if somebody is coming as a childhood, if somebody is born here in this state, he has 20% of getting the stroke. But when he's coming as a teenager, like as a teen, like 20 years or like 18 years boy or the girl, so they're coming here and they're living here, so they have the 13% chances. And the last lesson, they find out the people living here, they have 18% of high risk of cognitive impairment. Like cognitive is a memory, like we just call the yaddash, like the जैसे इंसान भूल जाता है. So this is called the memory and cognitive function. So the chances of cognitive function loss, like the memory loss, is more, 18% in these areas. So this, to avoid this situation, like you can see here, like so they suggested like you need to control your diet, like nutrient diet, and you to be a regular exercise, like working out, and smoking, like quit your smoking, and stress management. Like if like people have lots of stress, lots of pressure nowadays, everybody have like job pressure, family pressure, something. So you need to manage somehow your stress. And then the hypertension or the diabetes, these all also, like you need to control, proper checkup your like blood sugar and check your blood pressure regularly, so to control it, to maintain it. So these are the risk factors, like you can see here, some can be modified and some cannot modify. Like this is the not modified risk factor, which is the age. If the increasing age, the chances of a stroke increase with the age. Same thing here, the sex. Sorry, excuse me. So the sex, if you will see the female at the early age, like they are protected with the stroke. Male have more stroke at the age of like 40 or 50. Male have more chances of having the stroke than the female. But after the certain age, like because the lifespan of the women is more, So that in the aged women, they have more suffer with the stroke in the later stage compared to the men after 60. So the race, like here in African American, like here in United States, like the people are African, black and white. So the black people have chances of more having a stroke compared to the white people. So it's heredity. Like if somebody in your family, like somebody have in your family, like your parents have somebody have a stroke, so chances of a stroke increase for those people if somebody with the family history they having the stroke. So let's talk about the modified risk factor, which you can modify in your daily life, like for say the hyperglycemia or the diabetes. If somebody have the diabetes, he need to control and check all the time and to control their diabetes. And then next is the blood pressure. Like if somebody have the blood pressure like hypertensive, so he need to control his blood pressure. And if somebody have the prior stroke, like as we talked before, that if somebody have the mini stroke, like transient ischemic attack, like he got for a minute or for 2 days or 1 day, and he recover from that. So he need to be more careful and watch like his activities, and then you need to be control your diet. See like what is the reason, like why you got that mini stroke. So you need to control and then get the precaution. And next is the smoking and carotid artery disease. If somebody have the heart diseases, heart problem, so for them, for those people also the chances of a stroke increase. And then physical activity, if somebody is not doing, like if you will do the physical activity, you will reduce the chances of a stroke. If you are not doing, then chances of a stroke may increase because the obesity, like you gain weight. So and the COVID-19, which is recently come in the topic, like so everybody's talking about COVID-19. So the COVID-19 is one of the modified risk factor, like if you will control, like because there are several reasons we can talk about later, that COVID-19, like if somebody have the diabetes is badly affect, COVID-19 is badly affect on those people. If somebody have the hypertensive, like already have the inflammation and oxidative stress, COVID-19 badly affect on those people. So they are interconnected each other. So let's talk about the hypertension. Like hypertension is like 1/3 in the United States, around 68 million people having the high blood pressure. So if somebody have the high blood pressure, the stroke chances increase 4 to 6% on those people compared to the normotensive people. So there's a guideline suggested like for the normal blood pressure, like we need to check regularly if like somebody is reaching now the stroke is occurring like not only the aged people, like the old people, it can occur to the young people too. Like recently, like I heard several news that like 25 years old people, like 25-year-old boys, like he got attacked with the stroke or something. So like you need to check your blood pressure regularly, like it should maintain like 120 to 80, like systolic and the diastolic blood pressure. And if they consider the hypertensive, which is 140 to 90, if somebody have this kind of range. So like we need to, like the chances of a stroke increase with the smoking. If somebody smoke regularly, like chain smoker, so chances for him, in some reports, like you maybe heard on the news, like the smoking is beneficial for Alzheimer's disease and it improves the cognitive function. But what I feel like this is like very light smoking, like light smoking. You can consider that things because it is sensitized to some kind of receptor in the brain, so they will activate, so it can be protective. But most of the time, if you're a regular chain smoker or like you smoke a lot, so chances of stroke increase double for those. So, and then 2 to 4 chances of hemorrhagic stroke for those people who are smokers, and it's contribute to the 12 to 14% of all stroke-related deaths. So quit smoking for your beautiful life. And the next is the hypertension. The hypertension is one of the major risk factor for the stroke. Millions of people have the like hypertensive and they are affected. We already talked, I think so, about this. And the hyperglycemia. So the hyperglycemia, which is other diabetes, and now the millions of people like here in all over the world, they are diabetic. Many people like some are pre-diabetic, some are like in real diabetic stage. So because we are taking lots of sugar contain lots of drinks. Even you're drinking the juices like packed juices or anything, they have lots of sugar in that, like lots of content of sugar. So it is like badly affecting and increasing chances of diabetes. And diabetes is one of the major risk factor for the hemorrhagic stroke. And you can see here this image, like See here, if somebody have, this slide showing, this is the brain images of the infarcted area, like after the somebody having the stroke. So you can say, yes, hello, okay. So like here you can see that this is the brain image, like you can see this is area which is a light brown is called the penumbra. The cells in this area, they started dying, like they are in the process of dying, but it's still not died. But the dark area, which is brown area, you can see the cells is already died. This is the dead area. So this area is dead. So the part, this brain part, if responsible for some function in the body, that function will not work in the body. So here, this is the normal patient, like which get the stroke. If somebody have the hyperglycemia, the diabetes, you can see here. So this area is shrinking, like with the time, you see the time curve. With the time, this area is smaller. This is the light brown area is smaller, and it's gone from this, like this is, you will find only core area. But if somebody have the hyperglycemia, you can see here, this the core area is increasing and increasing and is covering the, which is the penumbra. The cells is still alive in the process of dying. So it's a whole area you can see here compared to this one is brown, means is dead. The cells on that area is particularly that big infarction. So the hyperglycemia diabetes is worse than the stroke outcome. So you can see like so famous people, like I just pick few picture like of the people, like they have suffered with stroke in their life. Like you can see here, they are some celebrity from India and like film like Hollywood, like you can see Shannon Stone and Charles Schulz. He was a famous cartoonist, and Dr. Neeraj Vora, Neeraj Vora, he was also like a writer and a director. So they suffered with the stroke and they died recently. And this young, like Krish Kapoor, he's recently passed away because of the stroke. So, it means that the urgent attention, like is required, the urgent attention for the treatment or what the like diagnose, we need to be very careful. So here, like these are the diagnostic tools, like you can see here, like if somebody have the stroke, so when it go to the clinic or in the hospital, so the computer, like this is called a CT scan, and they go the MRI, and they have the carotid ultrasound and some other measure they do for the patient if somebody having a stroke. You can see in the slide, this is the MRI slide for the normal. If you will see the normal brain, you can see here, there is no like dot or something like there. So this is a clean brain. Here, if somebody having a stroke, like there's a white shining area you can see. After MRI scanning, the brain will show like this shining. This is called abnormal tissue in the brain, which is because of the stroke. And here, this is a CT scan, and you can see here, this is a normal brain, but after a stroke, this is bright shining big area. This is a subarachnoid hemorrhage. Like hemorrhage occur in that particular patient. So let's talk about the treatment. What are the treatment options we have? Like when you see, like when you heard, like I heard several times with the people that the perception that the stroke cannot be prevented. So up to 80% stroke can be is a preventable. Like if you will take care of the diet and then your physical activity, so that you can reduce the chances of having a stroke. And it cannot be treated. So people say it cannot be treated, but it can be treated, but require emergency treatment. Like you need to be act fast. You cannot wait like hours. If 1 minute, even 1 second is important. If somebody having a stroke, so the time is very important. So, and it's strike to the elderly people, like the old people. Yeah, young could be like, is anybody young person like can affect it, like a young boy. Many young boys are affecting with the stroke. It can happen in the heart. It's a brain attack. Recovery is up to 6 months, like people say, but it can be lasting forever, like for lifetime. You will not recover if somebody having a severe stroke. So at present, like there's 2 effective treatment for the ischemic stroke. One is the tissue plasmogen activator, which is called the TPA. This TPA is a clot buster, like it lies to break the clot. And because we are talking about the clot is forms alpha in the body and reach to the brain. So they give a TPA. This is called to break the clot. This lies the clot in the brain. So, and then other is the thrombectomy, which is a stent retriever. So they remove the clot by using a device which goes to the, the coil. I will show in the later slide, the coil, and then it reaches to the brain and they take off the brain. But this is very risky and complicated, and it needs a specialization. Like not everybody can perform this kind of surgery. So the TPA, which is a clot buster, like clot breaker, like hemolysis, like lyse the clot. So you can see only 5% of patients get the TPA because of the time window. It has a time window. The problem with the TPA, there's a treatment for the stroke, but the problem is that it has a time window. This treatment can be given to the patient only within that time window, like which is 4.5 to 6 hours. For say in India, like workplace, like because I was there too, like so you can see the people like there is they don't get the treatment. Many times they are staying outside the hospital and doctor not taking care of them. So and for the stroke patient too. So you cannot, like there is the problem. The time is important. So even they will not reach to the proper treatment, proper hospital, like where they have to be go, but they did not get. And that's why the reason, and maybe India is less than 1% people get the treatment, the TPA. And there is the other treatment, which is an intra-arterial device, which is a mechanical remover of the clot. And these are the devices named like Mercy, Penumbra, and Retro. These devices use, these are the FDA approved devices, but it needs a specialization, like you will technically soundful, the person, the doctor, surgeon is doing that, he is to be like surgical expert. So here, this is a door to the needle time, like door, when the patient come to the hospital gate, so the needle, the injection, like they, usko injection dene ke liye time mein jo jitna, this is a gap, like the time window. So what they do, when they come to the hospital, they 10 minutes to check up, they ask for is the history, like he has a stroke, how long it happened, what it happened, like they take the like vital organs activity, they check it, and then they inform to the team, stroke team, like, oh, there's a patient for the stroke, so you need to be active now. So they will come up with the CT scan and they come up with the TPA. So they will go for the CT scanning, and then they will find out if is a ischemic stroke, and then they will go for the TPA because the hemorrhagic stroke, we cannot give the TPA to the hemorrhagic stroke because the blood is already come outside the brain. So it's a leakage. The hemorrhagic stroke occurs because of the leakage or the break of the artery. So you can see here, like if they see someone like face like uneven and like a speech and arms, like they have the problem there. So they check the vital organs, the blood sugar level, and the cardiac monitoring, and they take to the hospital. So before patient, it will go to the CT scanning, radiology talk, and then physical examination. And you can see if they will find a patient, he is having the stroke, like subglenoid hemorrhage, like hemorrhage in the brain after CT scanning. So they will not give the TPA to those patients. They will like restrict to the, like prevent these patients from the TPA. So they will give, they try, if they have the expertise in the hospital, they will try to take the clot off by the mechanical removing this, using this Mercy device. This is a coil like things they insert in the artery from the, excuse me, so from the heart, and they take off the clot. But this is very risky, and some is all the time is not successful. Now let's talk. This is the ischemic stroke, and then here the patient, like they will give the TPA to this patient. So the time window for the TPA is 3 to 4 hours. Now is extended like to 6 hours, up to 6 hours you can give the TPA. But it's still like the time is critical for those patients. Like you can see that they cannot get a TPA on time. So time is very important. If you see somebody, your family or your neighbor, your friend having stroke, like you need to be very fast, act very fast, like fast. If face uneven, just give a sign like face, arms, like, and if you see somebody have uneven face, arm is like drifting from one side to the other side, and he has problem in his speech. So it's time. You need to be act fast to get to the hospital or the right treatment to save your connective. So the TPA. So the TPA, we're talking about TPA. So you would like to know what is TPA. TPA is a tissue plasma inactivator. It works as a two ways. Like if it will give to the right time, which is a 4.5 or 6 hour time window to the patient, the on time the patient reach after a stroke onset happen, that the somebody get the stroke, the time is 6 hour or 5 hour, it reach there. If after 6 hour they will not give the, if they give the TPA, then it worsen outcome. They increase the inflammation, oxidative stress causes damage. But if the TPA is work like plasmogen, and then it degrade to the plasmogen to the plasmin and fibrin product, and then the resolution like blood flow is restored to the brain, and then the function started recovering after that. So how does TPA work? Like you can see here, the image that you can see, this is the clot in the artery in the brain. So, and then this is called the ischemic stroke we talk about, right? So here you can see the exogenous TPA, endogenous TPA. The TPA is present in our body too. So this TPA try to break the clot. If it's resolved, then you will get the desired outcome. The patient will improve. Like this is called sometimes the mini stroke. But if the resolve is not resolved, so they will try to give the exogenous TPA, which is like they will give with the needle, like infusion of the TPA. So they give the TPA. So if resolved, then you will get the result, like is the desired outcome. But if it's not resolved, then the increase the injury, like chance, like is increase the injury, like damage to the brain. And it can be permanently not resolved, so the patient can be permanently paralyzed. So let's talk about, if somebody have any question, anything in middle, or they want to go in the last. Dr. Rizwan? Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, we have.
किसी को कोई question वगैरह है अभी होगा तो अभी मना, we can talk in the last two, like whatever you think.
Sir, we have various questions. First question from our participant is, what is the ischemic stroke?
So, sorry?
What is ischemic stroke?
Ischemic stroke, like ischemic stroke is an ischemia, word come from the ischemia, mean blood. Is a blood, because of the blood clot. We're talking about the ischemia is come like as a word from the blood. So ischemic is a blood stroke because of the blood clot. So the clot forms elsewhere in the body, like the clot with a clot forms in the body and it reaches to the brain and it stops blood supply. And another is the hemorrhagic stroke. The hemorrhagic stroke, when the blood is like rupturing of the artery, causes the leakage of the artery and it causes the hemorrhagic stroke.
Sir, we have one more question.
Yes.
Why female has less chances of stroke attack as compared to female?
Sorry, can you speak loudly?
Why female has less chances of stroke attack as compared to the male?
That's a good question. Actually, the female, like, you know, like in early age, like there's a mechanism, like is already reported, like the estrogen. The female have estrogen hormone. So this hormone even release in the puberty, like in the woman, in the ladies. So this hormone is present in the only in the female, estrogen, which is called estrogen. So the estrogen hormone is higher in that, and it considered as a protective. It has several protective effects. Like even some, like women, when they are pregnant, like they are pregnant, so this hormone level goes up to be 100 times or 200 times higher. So to protect the baby, fetus, to protect the fetus. So because of this hormone, it considered that the female have less chances of having a stroke compared to the male. But when the females, like the women get older, like they got the menopause, so in that age, like they have increased the same, like same to the human, like same for the men, chances of having a stroke, like as compared to the early age, like below 50. After the 50, female get more stroke compared to the male. But one of the reasons, like we talk about that, because of the lifespan is considered more for the woman compared to the men. This could be the reason. So female get more stroke like than the male. Yes.
And sir, we have one more question. What is the chromotropic, inotropic, and chromotropic action on heart of the calcium channel blocker?
Sorry.
What is the chromotropic, inotropic, and chromotropic action on heart of the calcium channel blocker?
Like you said, the what tropic, neurotropic?
Yes, sir. Like inotropic, chromotropic action on the heart of the calcium channel blocker.
I did not get the question. Like, sorry.
सर ये पूछना चाह रहा है कि जो आइनोट्रोपिक ट्रोमोट्रोपिक का हमारे हार्ट पर क्या असर है?
और हार्ट पे क्या असर होता है? आइडियोट्रॉपिक, how does it affect the idiotrophic and pleiotropic?
Yes,
This
sir.
is like these are the, like, I think so, the calcium channel blocker, like, so the calcium related to the calcium, so they have like the beneficial effect because the calcium is increased in the patient of stroke and in the heart attack too, like in the heart patient too. So the calcium, to inhibit the calcium overflux, so they use like these agent maybe.
And sir, we have one more question. What are the primary home management for the stroke?
Primary
Home management for the stroke.
home management, you said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If we get suddenly stroke, what will be the home remedy for the stroke?
The home remedy, like there are like I cannot say the home remedy for the stroke because this is acute injury. So you need to, the first is better to go to the doctor, like I would suggest you, because go to the clinic. If somebody have a stroke, you cannot, because first say if you will give a painkiller or something he has, so it will not going to help him. You are wasting your time. I mean say like आपका टाइम खराब हो रहा है. जितना आप स्ट्रोक में क्या होता है, जितना भी आप देर करेंगे उतना ही आपका टाइम खराब हो रहा है. Time is very important. If somebody having a stroke, so time is very critical. Even for the heart attack, like if you are spending time to give some control medication for the heart patient, like if somebody have the heart attack, so if you are trying to give the home remedies, like is a like give some like painkiller or something, so you are wasting your time. It's to better go to the doctor. मतलब time waste करने से अच्छा है कि मैं तो ऐसा home remedies. ऐसा तो कुछ ऐसा सच नहीं है क्योंकि ये एक्यूट अटैक है ना, मतलब बहुत अचानक से होने वाला है. अब जैसे कोई और बीमारी होती है तो उसके लिए तो घर पर जैसे आप कोई भी यू कैन यूज एनी होम रेमेडीज, बट फॉर इसके लिए तो मैं समझता हूँ कि कोई ऐसी होम रेमेडीज ऐसी तो कुछ नहीं है. बट एज ए प्रिवेंटिव वी टॉक अबाउट सो मेनी थिंग, लाइक एज ए प्रिवेंशन, लाइक यू कैन टेक बिफोर हैविंग ए स्ट्रोक, you need to control your diet, and you can take many antioxidant like say the curcumin, also curcumin like haldi, ye bhi like beneficial for the, if you are taking it. So just the same thing whatever you are taking, like for the your body, for your health nutrient, like the vitamins you are taking supplement, per se with the age people, like older people, if they were taking the vitamins or something kind of like fruits, and they are maintaining their healthy diet and controlling their blood pressure, so they have less chances of, like the chances for those patients, those people will reduce their stroke. But like acute treatment, or I don't think so any treatment, even the local doctor like cannot give you any acute treatment, so it need to be go for the hospital.
Sir, we have one more question. Which part of the brain did the stroke affect?
Sorry,
ब्रेन का कौन सा पार्ट इफेक्ट करता है जब स्ट्रोक होता है?
स्ट्रोक में जो है ब्रेन का जो पर्टिकुलर जो है, इसमें कोई पार्ट नहीं है. इसमें जो मेन जो मोस्ट कॉमन स्ट्रोक इज द मिडिल सेरेब्रल आर्टरी. दिस इज आर्टरी व्हिच इज कमिंग टॉप फ्रॉम हियर, लाइक नाक, ये कान से ऊपर से एक आर्टरी जाती है, वो कॉर्टेक्स में, जैसे इस पिक्चर में जो पिक्चर ये जो है मतलब स्लाइड में यू कैन सी, दिस इज द आर्टरी, दिस इज कॉल्ड द मिडिल सेरेब्रल आर्टरी. So it has both sides, one artery, one here, one here. So most of the time, like it can affect any side too, like right side or the left side. So isme we can see like here, this artery is covering the cortical part. So mostly cortical damage. Cortex is mostly damaged in the ischemic stroke. Cortex. And the cortex is responsible for your short-term memory. Like hippocampus, there are two main parts which is affected in a stroke. One is the short-term memory, like छोटे टाइम के लिए आपकी याददाश्त कमजोर हो जाती है, छोटे छोटे पार्ट आदमी भूल जाता है एक्टिविटी, और उसकी जो बॉडी के जो लिम्स हैं वो भी सही से काम नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि इस कंट्रोल योर बॉडी मूवमेंट टू, लाइक हैंड्स एंड योर लेग्स. So and then long-term memory, which is considered the hippocampus, like is your hard drive, like hard disk. So it is affected in the stroke too, but it's a long-lasting effect. Acutely, like you will lose your short-term memory.
Sir, we have one more question. What's the effect of coronavirus on brain?
Yeah, the coronavirus. That's a good question. That's what I'm going to talk now. Let's talk about the coronavirus and COVID. Then we will get answer, and then we can talk more about coronavirus. Okay?
Okay, sir. Sir, please continue, sir.
Okay. So what happened in the coronavirus, like recently, like which is recently introduced, as I talked before, that without any discussion in the family or like where we are talking in the friends, anybody, we cannot complete any talk without talking about coronavirus. So that's why I just put in the last, like, because, and now lots of studies, like, is not, I'm serious that lots of studies are coming, like recently I was reading an article, like they are showing that the ischemic stroke, like several neurological disorder is not known, because it's still like we don't have any proof, something, just only the clinical observation is coming. So क्या हो रहा है कि स्ट्रोक में आजकल इस्चेमिक पेशेंट जो जिसको कोरोना वायरस हुआ, जैसे जनरली कोरोना वायरस किसी को हुआ, after some time, like maybe a week or 2 weeks or month, so they are having the stroke attack. And this stroke attack is coming. What is the reason behind it? They are suggesting that this coronavirus is like COVID-19, which is COVID-19. It goes to it's affect to the lungs, and in lungs, like is affecting to the coagulation, like the clotting factor is dysfunctioning the clotting system, like coagulopathy. So it increases the inflammation, increases the like in the lungs inflammation, and make the clots in the lungs. And this clot is because of the clotting factor is disturbed, and they're reaching to the brain with the circulation. They're reaching to the brain and affecting that, causing the stroke. So there's an enzyme which is very popular in the coronavirus, which is called the angiotensin like ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE2, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, which is involved in the renin-angiotensin system, which is a control in the renal function, and is present in the brain too, like ROS, which is called the renin-angiotensin system. This enzyme is binding, like COVID-19 binding with this enzyme, and in the endothelial cells, which are present in the smooth muscles and in the brain, and it's coming to the brain. And that's how it's entering to the brain and causing the weakness of the endothelial walls in the vessels, and already the clot factor, which is already like the clotting factor is dysfunction. So maybe increase the risk of a stroke. So the coronavirus is not only affecting to the lungs, like people say is the lungs, like because it's a cardiac arrest, like they have problem in the breathing. It's affecting like head to toe, like anything can be affected. Now the new studies, new observation, new clinical observations are coming, and they are talking that this can affect to the brain, this can affect to the heart and the blood vessels, kidney and intestine, even intestine. So anything can, like anything, people is studying, observation is coming. So this is like, we can say, and the stroke is one of the study, like several studies, like here, there's a study which is probably UCLA in London. So they found that COVID-19 patient, like they found like few patient, maybe 10, 15 patient, they found that this is the endothelial wall, the clot present in the endothelial, you can see here, this is in the brain, the CT scan, you can see that this is the clot present in endothelial wall of the endothelial cells of the brain, in the brain. So this is causing the stroke. So the chances of stroke increasing in the COVID-19 patient because of the coagulation dysfunction and the inflammation, definitely the inflammation. In the last, like I'm done with my presentation, but like I want to talk because this is so many students are attending the seminar. So I want to talk about an opportunity for the pharmacy student or any science student. There is a opportunity for the PhD program in here in UTHSC, like we have here, and also in many universities here. So maybe some people are not aware, and some students they don't know, but I just want to make them update, and then they're interested to do their PhD from abroad, like United States, so they can apply. So for इसके लिए इसको क्या करना होता है, जैसे इसकी requirement, like you need to be master or the bachelor degree, like B Pharm or M Pharm. Many people here, I can see, even we have some student at a PhD, they are like from different countries, like even from India, like few see I from India too, and some from like different countries, like they are coming Bangladesh and different like Nigeria, like all over the like different countries they are coming here. So you need to be like, they give the preference because there is a college of pharmacy here, so they give the preference to the pharmacy student also. So it need to be master or the bachelor degree required. And there is in the March is they consider is a fall semester deadline. Semester start like on August, so they have the application deadline every year in March 15. And the requirement, which is not, I think, so this is the easiest platform to come to here. Like if somebody want to come to the PhD, this is the easiest thing. Just need to qualify the GRE. and it need to be a certain score. And if he or she has some in the research experience, like some lab experience, like, and publish some paper, something, it will help them to compensate the GR. Even the GRE score is less, but they will consider them for the PhD too here. I see some student here. And financially, like, it is not a burden, like there's no burden, like आपको कुछ पे भी नहीं करना होगा ज़्यादा. I think so, like just only, like they will give you the stipend too, like every month you will receive some stipend for your living. You can live your life like normally with this stipend. And इसके लिए just GRE आप करें और इसको apply कर सकते हैं. Then anybody is interested, like go ahead and apply. There's a link. If some information is needed, he can contact me, or like Dr. Rizwan can, and Dr. Saurabh is there. They can talk to them, and then we can talk. And then if somebody is interested. And thank you everyone. And if you have some questions, so it's open for the question. You can ask.
No, sir, we have no question. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to our Dr. Tawheed Isra, sir, for delivering the lecture on ischemic stroke treatment option. What do we know? I again thank you very much to our Tawheed sir. सर आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, आपने हमारा
अरे नहीं, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपने बुलाया.
हमारी
yeah, I just want to tell you one more thing. With the COVID-19, like coronavirus से हमें इतनी सारी चीजें नेगेटिव भी मिली हैं, मतलब हमारा काफी नुकसान हुआ है. We lost everything, like many people lost their job and everything. But at the same time, if you will think positive, so we gain many things. Like one of the thing is the webinar seminar series, like is all over the people, all over the institution. They started like webinar communication. So this is a good platform. I think so. You should keep it, continue for your future curriculum in the, like, as this is the curriculum, right? In the seminar. So I think so. You continue this kind of like seminar series for the student, and it's very helpful for them. And then the same time, like we get interacted with the family, with the this is a positive impact of the COVID-19. Like we interacted with the family, like so many people like they never get a chance to talk with their family, but now they spend lots of time in the lockdown period with the family. So it's a good time for them. I think so. It's a like this is a positive outcome of the coronavirus. Yes. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We have sir, one question is there. What is a pre-stroke? Pre-stroke.
Pre-stroke is not like a thing like pre-stroke. You can say the mini stroke. Like if somebody have the mini stroke, like mini means like is a time being short time. Somebody have the stroke, like somebody you see like लकवा हो, उसका एक साइड का गाल या हाथ पे यहाँ पे पैरालाइसिस हो जाता है, थोड़ा सुन हो जाता है थोड़ी देर के लिए, फिर उसके after some time he recover. So this is called the pre-stroke. You can say this is a warning. Is a warning for you that you are going to be face a big stroke now. So you need to be careful. Take the precaution. This is maybe the pre-stroke called the mini stroke. You can say. So the chances of having a stroke in those patients is increases. Like those people increases if somebody have the mini stroke. Like थोड़ी देर के लिए हाथ ये थोड़ा सुन हो गया या गाल पे यहाँ पे सुन हो गया, तो लोग कहते हैं ना हवा की वजह से हो गया सुन लकवा. But it's like this is a warning. I would say this is a warning for you.
Sir, sir, thank you, sir. Sir, we have one more question. How we can improve the dead tissue from the brain?
How we can improve the
dead tissue from the brain? Dead tissue from the brain. Yes, sir. हम किस तरह improve कर सकते हैं जो dead tissue होगा brain के?
Actually, you cannot remove the dead tissue because the surgery in the head is very complicated. If somebody is going to open your head, chances of surviving is 2%. Like it's very difficult to survive somebody if the remove. Firstly, the tumor, the cancer, the brain tumor. Sometimes if you are going to remove the tumor, is maybe less than 1% survive of the brain tumor removal. So you cannot remove the dead tissue. Just only you can revive, which is the tissue which is going to be dead. One thing. If the tissue is like कोई tissue जो है आपका मतलब जैसे we were talking about is some cells in the brain because of the stroke they are about to die, मतलब वो dead मरने जा रही हैं वो cells और उनको हम revive कर सकते हैं. They are like breathing, like somebody is breathing, so we can revive them. But if the tissue is dead, we cannot revive. But one of the like the beautiful function of the brain. If some part of the brain is damaged, so the other part take care, like compensate the same function for the brain. It has in some reported, like if your right side is damaged, so your left side is started controlling to your both side. So like compensation like to the other side.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I again thanks and pay my regard to our honorable speaker, Dr. Tohid sir, from the University of Tennis, USA. Uh, on behalf of the our Vivek College of Technical Education, Bijnor, and from the all Vivek Parivar, I again thanks, and furthermore I again thanks and express my regard to our college chairman, Sri Amit Goel sir, Secretary Sri Devi Mittal sir, Treasurer Sri D.K. Agarwal sir, our pharmacy principal Dr. Saurabh Sharma sir, our principal of different departments, Dr. Rajiv Chaudhary sir, Dr. Sandeep Agarwal sir, Dr. and all principal of Vivek College, all delegates of the all delegates of this webinar. There is a Dr. Tohid sir explain about the ischemic stroke management, various neurological disorder, and they discuss and they also discuss about various stroke conditions. What is the pre-stroke? What is the after stroke? There's so many conditions they discuss. सर मैं दिल से आपका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ पूरा विवेक परिवार की तरफ से। आपने इतने कीमती टाइम में, क्योंकि आपका एक प्रोजेक्ट असाइन चल रहा था, उसके बीच में आपने हमारे लिए टाइम दिया, उसका मैं आपका दिल से तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। और आप यहाँ पर आएंगे तो बिल्कुल हम आपका एक अभी ये वेबिनार पर हुआ है, हम चाहेंगे कि आपका ये डायरेक्ट आमने सामने भी एक आपका एक लेक्चर, एक सेमिनार में आपको इंटरनेट सेमिनार में
इंडिया में आना होगा, कभी विजिट होगी इंशाल्लाह जल्दी, जैसे भी होता है तो मैं कभी बताऊंगा। जैसे तो कभी लाइक इसे लाइक पर्सनली लाइक वी कैन गिव ए सेमिनार लाइक समथिंग लाइक दैट वी कैन मीट। मैं आपका नाम सौरभ सर का नाम काफी बार सुना है, मतलब नदीम वगैरह, सो मगर लेट्स सी पर्सनली लाइक सी योर फेस, सो इट्स वेरी नाइस टू सी एंड मे बी हैप्पी टू मीट विद अदर पीपल लाइक या डेफिनेटली। And that will be like is a connection like it's some like between the institution and this too, like so this is a nice like I think so the platform for the meet with the pupil, and then definitely is going to help the students. So like somehow if somebody is interested to do a PhD, though, I'll be happy to help, like somehow if I can help something for them.
Thank you, sir. I again thank to our management committee of Vivek College who provide us this platform for sharing our academic development, campus development regarding academic as well as research platform for all our faculty as well as students. I again thank to our Dr. Hitesh Sharma, the coordinator, who provide this webinar, all things they provide us. And again I thank to all delegates of this webinar. ये हमारा इसके बाद जो हमारा हम लोगों का वेबिनार है वो 27 जुलाई को है, और उसमें हमारे इंडियन फार्माकोपिया कमीशन के जो साइंटिस्ट हैं वो उसमें उपस्थित रहेंगे, सभी लोग उसे भी ज्वाइन करें। इसी के साथ मैं वेबिनार को यहीं पर समाप्त करता हूँ। सर का फिर अगेन मैं बार सर का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि सर तोही सर का कि सर हमारे साथ
मेरे लिए तो यार लाइक आप लोग बेड से उठकर आ रहे हैं, अभी सब लोग सोकर, अब मेरा सोने का टाइम हुआ, is 1 p.m. is midnight for me, so I'm going to sleep now.
Thank you, sir.
It's completely opposite. Okay, thank you so much for thank you everyone for like the participant. Thank you for participating and like I appreciate. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.